In episode 4, we got our second guest instructor, Barbara Mitchell, who is, she has been such an important member of our dream team. She always worked so hard as a member of the dream team to embrace the overlay idea. So when I asked her if she wanted to teach this workshop on double weave, because she had been working with block double weave so much, I thought, wow, she knows it all. Let's try. And so I'm so happy that we did it. It's another one of those episodes where we've had so many positive responses to Barbara's episode, and she pulled out all the stops, creating all the pieces that are on the table. Now, what's really cool about this is that they were all done on one warp. She made one great big huge long warp, and she threaded everything on 8 shafts. But when you have an 8-shaft loom, you can tie up your 8-shaft loom to act as though it were a 4-shaft loom. So that's how she was able to do everything on one warp. She wove everything where her tie-up, all 8 shafts were tied up to imitate what would be happening on a 4-shaft loom. And then because it was threaded to 8 shafts, she could tie it up for 8 shaft and get it all on one warp with just a couple of changes to the tie-up. So that is super duper cool. There are 2 fabulous PDFs here to support it. Goes through everything you learn, everything you need to know is in this PDF. Every detail, minute detail is in here. Barbara is in some ways a much more detail-oriented weaver than I am. And all of her detail is in this PDF. It's absolutely glorious. But what I'm going to do is walk you through what she did on 4 shafts. She started, I asked her if she could use 2 of the colorways or 2 of the pieces from Seasons 2 Color and Design Workshop as her inspiration. So she chose the plaid, the colors from plaid and the graphic from plaid as one inspiration, and her other piece that she chose was parrot. You know, everybody loves parrot. Who doesn't love those colors? Or if you haven't loved those colors in the past, I'm sure over the years you've come to learn to love those colors. Because you've seen them used a million ways, and the 2 pair together so beautifully. Oh my gosh. Just in a cool little aside, if you were to go back to the plaid episode that we did way back in season 2, I ended up the plaid episode by weaving a gorgeous shawl, bringing the colors of parrot onto plaid, and it was drop dead gorgeous, if I may say so myself. Anyway, so that is a perfect pairing to start this project. Now, we did in season 3 an episode on double weave on 4 shafts, and we wove double width, we wove a bag, and I think we wove separate layers, but anyway, Barbara definitely has done it. We only need 2 shafts to weave 1 layer of plain weave. So we can thread our loom 1, 2, 3, 4 and say that our top layer is going to be on 1 and 3 and our bottom layer is going to be on 2 and 4. And then we can weave on the top and then we can weave on the bottom. We can interlock the shuttles so that they join on the side. And that's what Barbara did. She used all of those techniques to weave these pieces. Now, they are weaving channels, really. There's a channel that weaves from one side to the other, and I can pull it apart, and we can see that we have these 2, we have a big pocket in here, a big pocket. But our colors interlock on the selvage, and that's what joins them together. And then we can bring the bottom layer to the top and the top layer to the bottom. That gives us our other block. So that's what is happening in all of these pieces. It's a very simple structure. The threading is straight, 1, 2, 3, 4. Top layers are 1 and 3, bottom layers are on 2 and 4. We can bring the top to the bottom and the bottom to the top. And Barbara has just taken it way further than what we started way back in episode 3. All right, she's treating it like blocks. Here's the front of the first, and there's the back of that piece. 4 shafts. Super cool, huh? All right. Then she's playing with graphics. All we can do with this is play with bringing the top to the bottom and the bottom to the top. But that's a lot. There's one side. There's the other side. Color is the next thing that we can play with. We can work with the colors that we had. We could bring in other colors. A color study on this would be amazing. So here is one side. There's the other side. One side. There's the other side. Isn't that gorgeous? All that color blending. Graphic change. What does this look like? This looks like the graphic from Parrot overlaid. And our last one. Super cool, huh? My goodness. So we did that. And then Barbara taught she taught y'all how to not interlock the selvage so that they're not catching on the selvage and making a tube, as it were. You weave them independently. You weave a pick on the top with one shuttle, a pick on the bottom with another shuttle. Then the top shuttle comes back in to the top layer and the bottom shuttle goes into the bottom layer. No interlocking at all. And on that same warp, she wove 3 different graphics in 2 separate layers each. So this is a pair that go together. You'll notice that we have that graphic and this graphic are the same. Wait, how can I do this so you can see them both? Yes, all right. I think I have it figured out. I need a wider chest, a wider body. I'm working on it. Every year I seem to be working on getting wider. It's not quite wide enough yet. See, that means I have lots of leeway. I can just keep eating for a few more years. Sorry, I'm so bad. I'm always so bad. Okay, cool though, huh? So colors, graphic all change at the same time. We could take this and do different things on those different layers if we wanted to, but it's a little more brain power. Okay, let's see if I can be wide enough right off the bat. Put you in the middle. There, that looks pretty good. Not too bad, eh? All right, completely different graphic here. Lots of stripes. This is all the same little striping business that was happening in the plaid piece that we wove way back in season 2. And here's her third set, inspired by the graphic of Parrot. So you can see how good Barbara is at that putting it all together stuff, bringing things forward, overlay, overlay, overlay. The division of space in the weft is from Parrot. But she's mixed up her colors. So cool. All right, so that's what happened on the 4-shaft version. But wait, it's like a Ginsu knife commercial. We can also weave a tube. And so that's what she teaches us how to do, to weave a tube. Super cool. All top going into bottom, bottom into top, going round and round and round and round in a circle to make a tube. She shows you in the video how to make a real nice spiffy hem down at the bottom. Nice and tidy like. And how to put on your straps. All of that's in the PDF as a bonus. And then how to weave it in Repp Weave. If you got a warp that's double the density for double weave, you can weave it as Repp. And that's what we've got here. This big, beautiful piece of Repp Weave. So, what we have is a table runner for the center of our table. we have napkins to place around our table. And we have placemats. So, isn't this cool? It's going to take me too long to set the table, but you're getting the picture. All right? How lovely is this? I need a wider table. I do need a wider table. But I don't know if you can get this all in here. How cool is that, eh? Someday I'm going to go to napkin folding school. Okay, so for you 4-shaft kids, that has been an extraordinary exploration of double weave, of block double weave, all this fabulous color. And then there's more. There's a whole set of 8. And with 8 harnesses, we can get more complexity in our color mixing. And we get another thing that happens. We get not channels or tubes going from selvage to selvage. We can have 2 completely separate blocks. We can have a block on 1 to 4, and we can have a block on 5 to 8. And that means that at these color changes right here, it's got a seam everywhere. There's a, well, not everywhere, but most places there is a seam right there. You can see me pulling that, and that's seamed right here. There's a seam wherever there's a vertical line on this. So that's the difference between what we can get on 4 shafts and 8 shafts, and it allows us to play with color much more. So here's the first placemat on 8 shafts. And here's the back. Completely different. Isn't that amazing? The next one. I love the stained glass sort of effect that we're getting here with all that color mixing. So beautiful. Stripes on one side, on the other side. So crazy when you look at them this way. There, you can see that difference between the front and the back. More stripes. And somewhere in here, Barbara did a big tie-up change, or not a big tie-up change, a little tie-up change, which allowed her to manipulate her colors even more. So, look at this backside. It is so remarkable. Her A's and B's are all doing the same thing. So this is one of those where she's done her tie-up change. You can see that color is going from selvage to selvage. And our last few, I love the backsides the best, where we have all this blending. Yeah, there's another, look at that. And here again. They're just gorgeous. So, this was such a phenomenal introduction to double weave, and Barbara and I are coming back next year to do another episode on it, and we're going to do it together. So that's going to be fun. All right, so that's what we did in episode 4, and I have to get another one on the table. Be back in a minute.